Okay guys, here we go. This is just an introduction. I want you to be familiar with these drills so when we get together you'll know some of the nuances and things I'm looking for. This is not exhaustive when we talk running technique drills and ABC drills. There's many different variations, but these are the ones that we're going to do for this class, and they're pretty tried and true, I have to admit, and they're real transferable to other drills. Posture. You have to have good posture when you do these drills. You can't look down at the floor. As soon as you look down at the floor, the head goes down, you round over. I need you to have eyes out at the horizon. Eyes up, chest high. Not this, not that. No way, not ever. This, and then push up and through the big toe. You want to be in this position. Extended knee, extended ankle, basically ankle flexion. And then you're looking at hip extension and your eyes are out at the horizon. This is a key position right here to be able to be fast. And you have to be able to be comfortable with that because now my center of gravity is a couple inches higher and I'm able to run in that nice high position and be able to be more unstable and accelerate. Well, let's get play one more time here. There you go, nice and tall, out at the horizon. It's great. And that plays into this arm action. Now, this will be a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but the mnemonic on this is you want to go from cheek to cheek. This hand will go about cheek height or better over here, swing down past the pocket, and end up back by my cheek on my butt. What you'll find is when I'm doing this, the arms have mass to them, the legs have mass to them, and when we do sprint work, we're creating a ton of torque, right? Because it's a rotational movement pattern about the hip and the knee, and that rotation creates torque, and the arms move in opposition to the legs, meaning as your left foot goes forward, the right arm goes forward, and that's going to be somewhere on a check for learning. So when we're in opposition, these help to counterbalance any torque that we see down here. But now what you'll see is when I do the arm action drill, my arms are creating torque, and you'll see my feet start to move around on the floor. So pay attention to that, and you'll get an idea of how much force you have involved. Straight arms, loosen up the shoulders, 90 degrees, cheek to cheek. Notice my feet, they're kind of squirming around because my arms are creating torque down there. So that technique, that arm action, that 90 degrees is going to be used in a number of different drills. And I want you guys to be able to hold that good technique throughout all of these drills. Pushing up and through the big toe. You saw that in the other drill for the posture, pushing up and through the big toe. Never ever pushing out on the pinkies. Always up and straight, nice and linear through here. Pushing up and through the big toe, nice and tall. That raises my center of gravity a couple inches, makes me more unstable. Also allows me to apply the same amount of force or more force as I get stronger into a smaller contact patch, making for a smaller amount of time or less amount of time on the ground, which makes me therefore more powerful and more explosive and more unstable. But there's a little bit of kinesthetic awareness. You have to get comfortable with that. High knee walk. This is all about the movement pattern, right? So the high knee walk is a slowed down version of a series of drills, and we're introducing a movement pattern. Heels by the opposite knee. That's going to be called heel recovery. You have a toe up position. We're pushing through the big toe on the ground, and we have good arm action at 90 degrees. Up, up, deliberately pushing up and freeze, reinforcing that heel to butt reinforcing that heel recovery technique by the opposite knee. The opposite knee, by the opposite knee, reinforcing the cheek to cheek. That's all about learning the movement pattern. The next step in that process is the timing component. This will be a little bit quicker, but keep in mind we're still trying to go contact patch small, heel recovery, toe up position, good arm action, eyes out at the horizon. Quick, 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 quick. Not plotting. Oftentimes you see people, they miss out on this and they think in terms of I'm going to do high knee, and you can even hear it when I'm doing this drill. You can hear my foot actively landing on the ground as I'm gripping with my toes because you have phasing, right? Right now I'm delivering force into the ground from this foot and this leg and this glute, and this is loading. We have potential energy, kinetic energy. This is potential. We're storing up a bunch of energy in my left leg to make it kinetic and deliver force into the ground. But oftentimes you see these drills and people are very passive when they do them, and that's incorrect because they're not applying force into the ground. So there's a phasing component where you have to teach your body how to be explosive upwards, of course, but also down into the ground. And it changes this drill from a clip clop sound to that quick brump brump that you hear. And if you listen, you'll hear my feet popping actively on the ground. All right? Now, when you get better at this light skip, and I did this slow for your benefit to see it, you actually get much faster at that phasing. And the two clip clops that you hear become like that. It's like they're right side by side. They're unbelievably fast. With this power skip, I need more screen to show it because each skip covers so much distance. We'll do this one live when we get together. But you want to freeze the arm action during the flight phase. You want to deliver force into the ground, have the knee lead the charge, and the toe is up, pointed up and forward in the front leg position. And we'll go over this more in person. Heel to butt. So often we see this one done wrong. Contact patches, ball of the foot. You want the knee, and I don't do it very well in here, but the knee to stay below the hip. Eyes are out at the horizon. Tempo arm action, so it's not full cheek to cheek, but it's tempo. And notice this. The tempo is quick. Stride length, stride frequency. When you're talking sprinting and running, how long your stride is and how much ground you cover with each stride matters, right? Because the more ground you cover, the faster you'll be. And then also, the more you turn over, meaning how quickly you turn your feet over, the faster you'll be. So with this, my tempo is pretty good. But the other thing you see is I'm actually drawing back with my feet. I'm not passive on the ground. I'm not just plodding along. Active, active, active on the ground. I'm getting a lot of reps in. I'm gripping with my toes and I'm pulling back. If I were on the basketball court, you'd hear a lot of squeak, 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 squeak. The coaching visual I give on this is when I talk with my athletes, I want them pulling down and back and they're gripping with their toes. And if it was like fresh cut grass, the fresh cut grass would be going over top of their head. If they were running on gravel, you'd hear a sound with every foot strike on the ground. That's what I'm looking for with that. A little more knee down towards the floor would be great, but that's just something with me and getting older. I can't pull that off as well as I could. So when you look at these two, you have a nope and a yep, you have a how to and a how not to. And you look at this, this will be very slow and plotty. Crappy arm action, foot is flat on the floor. Sorry, lousy arm action, I should be more appropriate. Lousy arm action, flat-footed, very lackadaisical. The heels aren't very high. We're not getting too much of a heel strike on the butt there, which we'll talk about. Lazy, lazy. You get to here. Notice the difference on that. Active, active, active. Good pitter patter on the ground, and you have a good heel strike and good heel recovery as well. So if we take this a step further, let me get down here and tap. When we talk heel flick, the heel flick, when you do it correctly, it's the last little bit of the short lever position that you have from the heel to butt. That heel flick is quite literally this part of the shoe, the heel comes up and smacks you in your backside. Heel to butt and the heel flick are tied in. It's the last part of the heel to butt. And this allows a much shorter lever position, allows you to pull through much faster. And it puts you in the position, and there's a transition, right? Because you're going from dorsiflexion to plantar flexion, dorsi to plantar in your foot or ankle more accurately over and over and over again. And you'll see with this, with the heel flick, 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 one thing I pay attention to is I pay attention to the sole. I pay attention to this, and I pay attention to how it looks from my perspective. Does it look like it's flat? Does it look like it's parallel with the ceiling? Yeah, you bet it does. As a coach, that tells me good heel flick. Now, this could be a little bit more vertical here as opposed to my knee out in front, but I'll take what I can get right now. So this is actually pretty good heel flick position. And when you look at it from the back side, let this play out here. From the back side, the heel flick, it's almost like the sole of the shoe disappears when you do it correctly. Let's see if I can do this without linking out. If I do this right, you'll see from a coaching standpoint, that should be about right. This will almost disappear, and you'll see pretty much just the tip of the shoe. And I'll let this play out. Tip, and you can see the sole of the shoe almost disappears. So like with this, it's flat, parallel with the ground. I have the heel flick. And the other thing that happens is with that heel flick, with the torque I'm generating, see how the knee's brought back? With the torque I'm generating, when I do that correctly from the side, it actually lifts me up and puts me in that arched forward position. Notice the momentum. It actually picks me up off the ground a little bit and puts me in that arch forward position. Knee below the hip. As I pull up, the sole disappears and you can see more like the tip of the shoe. That's going to be mechanically what allows you to actually add a little bit of speed. allows you to be faster. And you'll hear me bark at you across the gym. I'll say, more heel recovery or more heel flick. These are the coaching points I want you to have down. Heel recovery and heel flick, all right? So these ABC drills, when you look at them, they serve a purpose, right? We're taking this very complex movement pattern that is running, and we're trying to break it up into its main components. We teach each component, we refine each component, and then that allows you as an athlete to then put those movement patterns, those small movement patterns together to make the overall movement pattern better. So the whole part whole technique itself, whether it's this, practicing part of a swing, you're working on hip rotation for a golf swing, maybe it's footwork for a particular drill, these are all components that allow you to have a value add, if you will, to being the total athlete, right? That's another component. What we're doing is just refining these movement patterns in the context of running and sprinting to make you more efficient. So now when you are doing your drills, you can be more efficient in the drill environment, which allows you to actually run faster and have a greater conditioning effect. That's it, guys. I mean, that's really what we're after. You know, sure, I love having crushing workouts, etc. But when you get to the point where you're running super efficient, you may find that you were only operating maybe as an athlete at like 70%, right? This is a fictitious number, but maybe you're operating at 70%. You do some running technique drills, you learn how to do other drills correctly, you start learning how to apply technique pointers from one thing to another, to another, to another, and it flows through all the way into the field of play. You become more efficient as an athlete. You're able to be faster, more explosive, and you have less wasted movement. That's exactly what we want out of you. So with these running technique drills, the ones that we just saw, you know, these will be the things that we do every day, and we're going to work on refining these movement patterns because they have their importance in other drills. All right, guys, I'm going to break off from right here. Catch you later. Bye.